So this is Gathering from FE News. I'm here with Jamie Smith from C Learning, and we're at the Printworks campus of Leeds City College. We're chatting around what are the basic requirements that a college needs to attain to be future learner ready and future employer ready.
It's a good question, and one that many leaders in education are grappling with. We work with thousands of clients all over the UK and Europe and the Middle East and all over the world, and there's lots of leaders grappling with addressing that at the moment. I think from our global perspective, I think there's a number of things you've got to get right. So you've got to have the foundations right. If you're running a college or a multi-academy trust or even a university, whatever it might be, you've got to have the foundations right. So the wide area network and the Wi-Fi has got to work. And that's, to us, I suppose, quite obvious because we live in a digitally connected world. So you can't be producing people who are work ready or even learner ready these days without having a reliable, trusted wide area network and Wi-Fi that can cope. And bear in mind, your average young person is bringing 3 devices in now to connect to the Wi-Fi, and they expect it to connect seamlessly. Now this is a good thing. This enables people to learn in different ways. I think one of the lessons we need to learn in the UK, maybe from some of our international comparators, that might help the adoption of this understanding of the criticality of Wi-Fi and internet access, because it is as important as any other utility now. When thinking about your future estate strategy in an organisation, you need to be thinking about digital by design. Not thinking, let's build another big new building. It needs to be digital by design, and that's how the teaching and learning curriculum planning process really needs to also be working as well. When we're in places like the United States, they have a bit more of a directed approach to this. There's organisations like the Office of Technology that issue reports and research that gives quite a direction and a steer to leaders in education. And it says things like, if you've got this many students, you'll need bandwidth and Wi-Fi that can deliver this. And it gives you parameters that you can plan for. So if you were an IT director, for example, or a digital learning specialist of some kind or another, it gives you the parameters that you've got a framework of, like, that's what we need to be delivering for the amount of people we've got in this organisation to be learner ready and world ready in terms of the kind of skills people are going to need. We don't have that in the UK. I think there's an opportunity for the DFE and others close to government to think about whether they should have a bolder and maybe more reinforced role in terms of issuing more directed policy around this. And it's not about telling people what to do, so I'm not for a second suggesting that any direction should come out of the DFE that says you should use this technology or this software. I think that would be a disaster. What I am suggesting is that I think there could be a direction coming out of the DFE and others that says, we're in a digital world now. You need to be in a digital world. If you've got on-site servers and lots of paper in your organisation and you don't have robust Wi-Fi and you don't have robust wide area networks, you need to innovate and you need to make people learner and world ready. And the way you do that is the adoption of cloud, mobile technology, agile learning environments, collaborative learning environments that enable critical thinking and a diversity of teaching and learning styles, and all the other prizes that you get when you sort out those foundations. I don't think it's going to happen naturally fast enough in the UK. I was in the Middle East recently, and there are people powering ahead with this in the Middle East. There are people across Europe powering ahead with this. There are other countries such as the United States, Canada and others that are, and of course Finland, powering ahead with this. And I think we're in a good place. We've got a great foundation on which to build, but I think it would be helped if there was a stronger policy direction that provided people with that strong steer, rather than leaving it to leadership teams in colleges and schools to try and work out for themselves, well, which way should we go? I think often I see a need for a bit of help around that, and a bit of help around what their digital strategies need to be and what their digital roadmaps need to be. And I think it could be helped significantly if the DFE was a bit more directive about it. So I think there's an opportunity for a stronger policy direction in the UK around EdTech adoption, if you like, but not driven by the technology, because technology is just a tool. It just enables somebody to do something, and it should be simple to use and it should make your life better. A classic challenge that's often put to me when I'm speaking at conferences all over the world is, well, that's great, Jamie, but can you show the impact on teaching and learning that piece of software or that technology has? And it's always struck me as a really strange thing to say. It's a bit like someone saying, show me how this pencil improves teaching and learning. Well, it's a pencil. It's what you do with it that matters. Most tools in the hands of a teacher who has mastered their craft will be outstanding, So it's about picking the right technologies that enable teachers to thrive and prosper, and it has to make their lives better. I see lots of technologies that might be very complicated, very clever, but if they're not making people's lives better and enhancing the teaching and learning process, it's not going to churn out young people who have that range of digital literacy they need to add value to a business from the first day that they arrive in that organisation. If you get this right, the magic happens, and you can churn out and produce graduates who are leaving our colleges and universities and our schools who are digitally literate, and they know about cloud technology, they know how to behave online, they know how to promote and amplify businesses and what they do, and how to connect to new customers they haven't already got. And that's where growth happens. And of course, young people now, I've got huge optimism and passion for the future and for the next generations coming through, because they are now born into a digital world. They don't know what it's like to be without the internet, unlike myself, who's now of a certain age won't go into. And young people have known nothing other than the internet, which means they've known nothing other than connectivity. And they don't constrain their thinking by their locality, or even their region, or even their country. These are global citizens connected globally to a network of people that they are interested in. And what better for a business than that? So if we want to enhance the UK economy, and we do, and we want to expand it, and we have a great opportunity to, because the UK has such a legacy and a resource, if you like, of innovation and brilliant people. One thing our country does amazingly well is innovate. We have a long established history of doing that. And I see that in EdTech now. I see education technology businesses, new ones starting and also some quite established ones, and they're powering ahead. And I think they're a great force for the future, and they're being powered by young people who work, think, and behave differently. And they're empowered by digital technology. So our education institutions have to do the same. We live in an open, connected world, so we cannot have an education system that is anathema to that, or is constrained in any way, shape or form. I think it needs to enrich, inspire and engage young people, and I think technology is a great way of doing that.